Okay. Okay. So we were just off camera chatting about this class that we are going to start right now. And I was talking about this resource, Yoga Mama, Yoga Baby. I have the book right here, Ayurveda and Yoga for Healthy Pregnancy and Birth. And month 4 chapter is the nurturing chapter. And the first quote I thought was perfect because this month in the membership is the water theme, water element theme. And so the quote says, "A woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself." And that's by Maya Angelo. It's Women's History Month. It's just like everything in this quote just now just was like, whew, and it felt really important to share with you. I'm going to read it again. And then we'll take a moment maybe to read or to sit and see how that feels. So it says, "A woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself." Maya Angelo. So I'm just curious and wanting to put it out there because for me it was like, oh, this word, I just attached to a word. Did anything like that happen for you? What was that experience hearing this? What was the thoughts, the thought path that you noticed or maybe are wanting to reflect on now? Sometimes we don't notice immediately. So if there was something that sort of stuck out to you and maybe your mind took it in an inspiration path and maybe your mind took it into like a negative path of like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Just notice and don't put yourself in one bucket or the other right now. It's just, that's all we're doing is observing. So again, if you have a journal or if you want to just sit, I'm going to move back towards the mat and we'll take these first few moments to center with those words. So again, whatever you've chosen to do here, you can be in connection with your breath while you are here doing that. These words by Maya Angelou: spirit, flowing, connection, pretense, herself. What does this mean for you right now? Here with your breath and here with your body. Here with your thoughts. Acknowledging that as the observer of thoughts, the ability to perceive, the ability to observe means that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer. It's important to have a gentle mind's eye on these thoughts as they move by. Relaxing your body as you're sitting or writing, loosening the jaw, shoulders. Letting your breath flow like the river in and out through your nose. Where else in your body can you relax, ease into? What thoughts can you start to let go of so that you feel a little bit lighter? Your writing might start to bring your pen to an end. Your time. You're connecting with your seat, no matter where you are, as you start to ground down through your sits bones. As we start to travel up the torso, giving loving attention to your belly. Ribs. Your chest. Allowing your shoulders to draw down as your neck lengthens. Tips of the ears reaching up towards the sky. Hands coming together in front of your heart. You may choose to set an intention here for this practice. Maybe it's one of those key words, spirit, flowing, herself. Take a full deep breath into your nose, and this time sigh it out of your mouth. You're ready to, you can release your hands and blink your eyes open. Let's come into a tabletop position here. We got to hands and knees. Stretching the legs a little bit here after that seat, letting your ankles and your knees have a little bit of fluid rush back into them. We're going to invite some of that fluid into the spine. At the end of the day, so first we're actually just going to move the hips side to side. And start with neck, these sort of like C-curve sways. So as your hips move to one side, let your head move to the other. I'm playing like peekaboo with your hips, trying to reach over as they're moving away from you. Your hips sway. A gentle look over the shoulder, not straining the neck. And then we'll do the same side. So the hips move to one side, the head moves to the same side. So you're looking over at your hip. And then switching side to side. Noticing what you feel in your joints as you're moving like this. Maybe in the neck, you can feel some crunching or popping or fluid. And then coming back to center, we'll tuck the toes under, send the hips back towards the heels, and start to move back and forth like this a few times. Your knees can even come wider if you want them to, like a child's pose. Hands are spread well, fingers all pressing down into the mat. And if ever your toes feel tired, you can always flatten the tops of your feet. But it's winter time right now. Well, actually, it's the first day of spring. Yay, finally. Oh my gosh, that's so nice to say. Well, it was winter and the toes really need some love and some stretching. And then when you're ready to, your knees can come back to about hip distance apart. And we'll start to move through what kind of looks like cat-cow. It can have any of those other movements built in, right? So if you're in your cat and you want to shift a little bit side to side, and then scoop the belly down, maybe same thing. Really just integrating everything we just did here with a few more movements of the spine. And if you're somebody who's always moving, always thinking, always going, you might even just stop for a moment and see how it feels to move into something with stillness, pausing to really, again, observe. Or your challenge might be just to move a little bit slower than you normally do. And on the opposite, if you're somebody who sort of takes things more slow, generally, maybe you want to add a little bit more movement. Okay, just ideas. Okay. Now coming back to our hands, back to table, I'm going to tuck the toes under and take a nice big downward facing dog. Your feet can come as wide as they want to. You can make movements here, getting down into the legs now. So it's totally optional depending on what type of floor you're on. We're going to take this into a wide-legged forward fold. You could do it right from down dog and step off of your mat if your feet are stable and walk your hands into your fold. Or you can come on the long edge of your mat and take it nice and wide from there. Nice wide forward fold. If you've got blocks, you can always use those underneath your hands. So your toes are all pointing forward in the same direction here, letting some of your weight move into the balls of your feet. Shaking your head yes to release this head. Shaking no. And then we're going to take a really gentle twist with the right hand coming below the face and the other hand coming up to the sky. It's in pregnancy when we're twisting, we just don't want to do those deep, closed twists. So our twists that are nice and open can feel really nice in the spine and the back. And when you're ready, just switch right to the other side. Hand below the face, other hand lifts. And then both hands can come down. Feel till you're feeling a little bit closer here. You feel sturdy coming up, then soften the knees, and you can bring yourself all the way up to stand. Just a little bit of standing here so you can see my head. Okay. So coming back one more time to a nice wide space, so you can heel toe back out. We're going to take one foot, let's all do the right foot forward, and we're in a warrior two position. So as you're setting up warrior two in your hips, things can start to feel different. So you could do what you know, heel to arch, heel to heel, or you could take that back foot out even wider. So your feet aren't aligned, and that just might feel better. So you can always experiment. As you bend into your front knee and take the hands out nice and wide, reaching the fingers away from the heart. Relax the shoulders, taking a soft breath. Then begin to reach forward, bringing the forearm down to the thigh, like you're holding a platter with that bottom hand. The top hand can come up to the sky or reach alongside the ear. This top hip nice and open here. Pressing down through that back foot, creating lots of space. Take another breath here. Then we're going to take it all the way back up to reverse the warrior, back hand to the back thigh, front hand up to the sky. Breathing now into this other set of ribs. And when you're ready to, back to warrior two. Let's bring both hands down to the mat. And step back to a tabletop. So back knee comes down, and you can slide that foot back. Find a cat-cow. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up to the sky, and downward facing dog again. More breaths here. Letting your heels sink down to the floor. And then when you're ready, we're going to step the other foot forward to take our warrior two on the other side. So left foot's forward, right foot back. Again, playing around with your alignment, what feels good today. Everything's always changing. And take the arms out. Standing in your power here. Feet firmly down into the earth. Then start to reach forward with the front hand. Forearm down, arm up, or alongside the ear. If you move through the rest of this practice, maybe sensing how each pose is nurturing your body. In what way? How does it feel? Where? How? Another breath. Then lifting all the way back up, nice and easy. Back hand to thigh, front hand up to the sky. And we'll come back to warrior two. And then relax the arms. Straighten the front leg. Bring your toes once again to face that long edge. That you're in your wide fold once again. And this time bring your hands behind your back, interlacing your fingers or holding opposite forearms. And really starting to hug your shoulder blades towards one another, letting your shoulders sink down towards the floor. Just imagining, envisioning this gentle hug of your baby closer towards your body. It's just going to keep your lumbar spine from pressing out too much, keeping your ribs in towards your body. And then if you'd like to, totally optional, is to soften the knees and take this down into a fold, letting your head relax down. Right, staying in the fold if you're there. Relaxing the hands, bringing the hands down. If you're not in your fold, release your hands and come on down to fold. And then from here, we're going to start to slowly bounce into the knees, side to side. And this is going to start maybe to get a little bit lower if you wish. Skandasana, side to side. This big opening, your hips and hamstrings, all the way down your legs. So much birth and pregnancy, we focus on the pelvic floor, but your legs are going to be working too. Moving you into all these different positions. Standing, squatting. Couple more times on either side. Walking nice and easy with the hands, letting leg extend. It's also really nice for the knee to get a nice deep bend in it this once in a while. Okay, then we're going to bring ourselves back up toward that forward fold we were in. Soften the knees, one hand to the hip, other hand, and you'll come rising all the way up to stand. While we're here in this wide stance, bring your toes out, your heels in, and take our goddess squat. So find your balance. And when you're ready to, start to bend into your knees. Like you have the support of someone you love or a wall back behind you where you can really feel like you're up tall here. You're going to start to feel it in your legs in moments if you're not already. Don't worry, we're going to breathe and move through this. Okay, if you'd like, you can even bring your hands up to the full expression with your elbows bent, hands nice and wide open. Holding steady for 3, 2, 1. We'll start to breathe and expand arms and legs up. Exhale, sink back down. Inhale up. Exhale. Let's do that a few more times. If you're familiar with Ujjayi breath, this is a really great time to activate that ocean-like sound in the back of the throat as you both breathe in and out. One more time. Hold it here. We're still breathing in and out, just like when we're moving. For 3, 2, 1, stand and release. Great job. Relax the shoulders. Heel toe your feet back to toes pointed out, and then bring yourself all the way up to stand here. Stepping towards the top of your mat if you're not there already. I'll take the hands up all the way up to the sky as you breathe in. And as you exhale, start to fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, down. Coming back up to stand, breathe in, send the hands up. exhale, hands float down to your heart. Again, hands rise to the sky, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway rise, inhale. Exhale, fold down. Moving all the way back up to stand. Exhale down to your heart. Do one more half sun salutation, hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway rise, breathe in. Let it go to the floor, exhale. Rising all the way up. And releasing down to your heart. Pausing to Tadasana, mountain pose, hands to the heart. How do your legs feel? Your feet up to your knees, up to your hips. How do your hips feel? Low back, center, chest, shoulders. Connecting with your posture, connecting with your center. Now looking down at your feet, heel toe your feet out once again, this time a little closer as your toes are out and your heels are in. We're going to take our Malasana, our garland squat, camper squat. The hands can remain at heart center as you breathe in, and then exhale, coming down nice and deep here. If you've got a block and you want to slide it right underneath your hips, feel free to do that. You start to press into your knees pressing into your arms. Keep the heart and the crown of the head lifting. Here for one more breath. Okay, a few ways to come out of this. You can take one hand back behind you and then the other, and then let yourself come down to the seat. If you want to stand up before you come down to a seat, you can do that too. Legs, get a nice little stretch here, pointing and flexing toes. And then take your right foot out to the side, your full right leg, with your left foot coming in towards the thigh. This is a stretch that I think I've ever taught a class without it. It just is essential. It feels so good. So with your hand coming down the extended leg, rolling the shoulder back, take that opposite arm. You can start with it behind the head here. Just gently pressing your head. You can start to feel that opening through the side body as you're starting to bend. Pressing your head back into your hand. Sort of looking and gazing up towards that side. You don't actually have to gaze up, it's just the direction of the heart. Have your eyes closed. And then if you'd like to, the arm can come alongside the ear, sort of arcing towards the toes. You keep this spinning open feeling through the heart. Breath flowing. With your in-breath, lifting yourself out. Just settling back in center. Taking your hands here, right in front of you, start to walk out directly in front. And then back in as we switch the legs out. Okay, again, turning the heart towards the bent knee, hand slides down the leg. As you start to reach down, bring the hand behind the head, pressing it back. Whenever you're ready to, sliding the hand out, extending the arm. Really similar to our side angle pose, where the idea of sensing how a posture is nurturing your body. So returning back to that. Just feel nurturing. You're ready. Another breath in. It's going to lead you all the way back up. And then your feet coming together, your Baddha Konasana. Take a moment to move some of the flesh from your sits bones, so sort of lifting your butt cheeks away so that your pelvis can pour forward. A little bit easier for the fold here. And as you sit tall, relax the shoulders, inhale, and exhale, and reach the heart forward. Closing the eyes, relaxing all the muscles of the face. Letting yourself go sort of droopy here. What thoughts are flowing through the mind. If it's something that wants your attention, you can send it on its little merry way like a weave down the river right now. Come on back up here into your seat. Take your knees together, bring your hands back behind you, and then take the feet out wide. I'm going to start to do a few windshield wiper swipes side to side. Take your time here. Just feeling your legs get into each little landing zone before moving on. We're going to take this into a nice, gentle, open twist as your knees move over to the left. Your right knee is moving towards your left foot. And then you can start to lift up your right hand, sort of sitting onto your left hip here. So we're twisting very slightly as we use our fingertips or, again, blocks to prop ourselves up. Trying to let the legs stay as heavy as they can to the floor. Looking over your front shoulder towards your feet. Come out of the twist. And then let your knees fall right over to the other side. Lift the other hand. And gently twist here. High up onto the fingertips. Propping yourself up. And then again, send that message down the legs to let go. Ready to look over towards your feet. Lift the hand, come back to center. And from here, we're going to come onto our back. So starting to get into the habit of using your side, using your hands to come down to your back. pregnant and postpartum, this is just a great thing to do to protect the core from moving in a way that we don't often think about, right? When we're bringing ourselves down to our back, it's like something we've done a million times. So we don't always engage the core in a way that it can be more supportive. Coming down onto your side and then your back. We can start to do a few little pelvic tilts here. So kind of like cat-cow on your back. All this attention on the hips, the pelvic floor. Good. And then with your arms lengthened down by your side, we're going to start to lift up into bridge and lower back down. A few lifts and lower with your breath. One more time. And then with your feet wide, knock your knees in towards each other. So the toes might be pointing in and the heels out so that this feels comfortable to let your knees stay here. We talk a lot about opening the hips so the knees are like opening out wide, but getting used to this position too has its part in pregnancy and labor and postpartum because it feels good for me too. Body this opportunity to do some more internal rotation rather than all of that external rotation that we often focus on. And separating the knees, bring one knee towards your chest, the other leg can go out long. Circling around through the ankle, getting back into the fluid feeling from the joints, your ankles, your toes. And when you're ready to switching sides, left knee in, right leg out long. Now with both knees coming in towards the chest together, your knees might be staying out wide, depending on the space baby's giving you. Your knees might be staying out wide because it feels good, closer together, totally up to your body. Start to just, your eyes closed, doing some sort of circular motions. Let yourself just figure it out. Don't think about it too much. Maybe it's the hips moving, maybe it's the knees, maybe they're moving together in circles. Think about yourself kind of stirring it up. You might think of stirring water in circular motion, or even the circle of a ripple as a water droplet enters. Then from here, supporting the backs of your legs, just letting your feet reach up towards the sky or Viparita Karani or legs up the wall. If you actually have a wall or a bed or a couch nearby, you might even want to scoot over by it. It's like one of the great things about practicing at home. You can just adjust really easily. So you can rest your legs up a wall. I'm going to shift over here. If that is possible, you can stay with your legs lifted, supported with your hands as long as you like to, as long as it feels comfortable. If it's okay, you can rest your hands on your belly. As we consider the nurturing aspects of this pose, this is a nervous system nourishing position to be in. You can promote restful sleep. Invite in a sense of ease, especially when you have the support of something to hold your legs. And you let yourself sink into your body 5% more right now. You breathe with your spirit, the spirit of your child or children. You can choose to stay here for another few moments or bring yourself down to a resting pose. Flat on your back, lying on your side. A woman in harmony with her spirit is like a river flowing. She goes where she will without pretense and arrives at her destination prepared to be herself and only herself. Maya Angelo. Slowly bring this practice to a close this evening. Celebrating yourself, celebrating all the women throughout history who have got us here to this point. Knowing that we are part of this interwoven connectedness. Notice the next 3 breaths as they rise and fall. stay where you are. Bring yourself up to a seat if you're ready to do that. Closing our practice with the sacred sound of Om. Hands coming together, take a deep breath in. Om.